Hey guys, what's up? So in today's video, I'm going to show you guys or speak to you guys about three simple steps that you can take, or three simple steps that you maybe need to implement into your lifestyle in order to flatten your belly. So belly fat can be a big thing, particularly as we get older, and especially as men. Women do get belly fat as well, obviously, but for men it's a much more common thing that when we tend to gain weight, we tend to gain it around the abdominal region. Yes, we get love handles, etc. as well, but it tends to be more of a protruding belly that tends to affect most men. And this is due to different hormonal profiles and things like that. But one of the things that we can do, three of the things that we should do, I'm obviously going to cover now. But part of the reason that we end up gaining it over time is, of course, because as we get older, we tend to end up less active. But also because the accumulation of the stresses of our lifestyle starts to take a toll. Basically, we get to a point where our body is no longer able to adapt to or overcome the stimulus that we expose ourselves to on a daily basis. And then just over time, that leaves your body slightly compromised, and then we end up with this accumulation of belly fat as a result. Which brings me on to my first point. The first thing that we need to do if we want to flatten the belly and keep it off for good, we must reduce the amount of stress in our lifestyle. Now, stress comes in multiple forms. Many people just think that stress is, oh, I've had a bad day at work, or my partner's pissing me off, and that kind of thing. But ultimately, what we're looking at is any change in our inner or outer environment is technically a form of stress. So anytime your physiology has to change or adapt, that is a form of stress to the body. Now, it's not necessarily a bad thing, because we need stress in order to encourage the body to build up the ability to be adaptive and obviously adapt and respond to the stimulus of our lifestyle. And as a result, providing we live a fairly balanced lifestyle, we'll actually get stronger as a result of stress. But many of us have this accumulation of stress that is too great for our current capacity, which is what leads to illness, disease, and dysfunction over time. So we want to reduce stress where possible. So this obviously comes from things like bad food, not enough hydration, not enough physical activity or too much activity. Could be overeating, undereating. Maybe you get too much sun exposure, or maybe you don't get anywhere near enough, and things like that. So just kind of have a think, glance over your kind of total lifestyle and just get an idea of, well, am I doing too much of this, not enough of that? And then look at ways or areas, where you can start to slightly tweak things, just to balance out that level of stress that you might be exposing yourself to. So that's the first thing. The next thing is, of course, we want to elicit the ability to burn body fat. So we want to encourage our body to start using our fat stores as a source of fuel. Firstly, it will happen by balancing out the stress, because anytime we're stressed, we actually burn sugar and not fat. So if we can reduce that stress, first off, we start burning body fat as our preferred fuel source instead of sugar. And then what we want to do when it comes to our training is we want to keep our workouts short and sharp. So you're going to work hard and obviously push your intensities and look to increase the weights, etc., that you're lifting, or run further or faster and all those types of things. You still want to push yourself to progress, but you want to keep them short and sharp rather than these long ongoing workouts that maybe last an hour, 2 hours and this kind of thing. Keep it short, keep it sharp, keep the stimulus fairly short and aggressive, and then that way you get exposed to stress hormones for a much shorter period of time, but you still get the stimulus that the body needs in order to adapt. And most of the research shows that for burning belly fat specifically, high intensity, shorter workouts tend to work better than low or moderate intensity long duration workouts. So generally speaking, aim for short and sharp rather than long and steady. And then the third thing that we'll need to do, of course, we need to address our nutrition in some way or another. And quite simply, the best thing that you can do is just reduce. You don't necessarily even have to eliminate, but at least reduce the amount of junk food that you perhaps are eating. Now, junk food, generally speaking, you know what it is, because most of us intuitively know, maybe I shouldn't be eating this, but we're talking about things like your fast foods, your takeaways, cakes, biscuits, sweets, sodas, and those types of things. So anything that you inherently know is not good for you, Start to reduce those where you can, because again, that will help reduce the overall stress load that your body's exposed to. Because anytime we eat these things, yes, we might enjoy them psychologically, but they result in a stress response in the body where the body has to detox from it and obviously do its best to extract nutrition from a non-nutritious source of food. So where possible, reduce that as well, and that will also give your body the best opportunity for burning the belly fat and reducing that overall stress load. Now, what will also happen as you reduce this stuff, you'll find that things like cravings, etc., go away, or at least significantly reduce. As you do or make use of the higher intensity training, that will also help to manage some of your cravings and your blood sugar handling and so on. And then, of course, exactly the same thing with the overall stress response. If we're reducing that stress, then our body is going to be in less of what we call a fight or flight response, and therefore is not going to be running around the system trying to break down muscle tissue and break down liver glycogen, etc., in order to provide fuel. Because it's not stressed, it can then go, okay, well, cool, I can actually make use of your fat stores for my energy sources, rather than needing these quicker sources of energy, which tend to come in the form of in the form of blood sugar, etc. So that's my little tip for you guys today. 3 things to implement if you want to lose the belly fat for good. First, we must reduce the stress. Then we keep our workouts short and sharp. And then, of course, we want to reduce the amount of inflammatory and junk foods that we tend to be eating. Oh, along the lines of inflammatory and junk foods as well, you'll want to eliminate processed vegetable oil. So things like sunflower oil, soy oil, canola oil, any of your cooking oils that tend to be recommended because they're heart healthy. Believe me, it's a bunch of shit. You do not want it. And the reason for that is because they are what we call polyunsaturated fats. And polyunsaturated fats do not tolerate light or heat very well. So the moment they're exposed to body temperature and prolonged exposure to light and things like that, they will actually break down and become carcinogenic, and the fats degrade and therefore serve no purpose in terms of giving health. So where possible, eliminate your junk foods, or at least significantly reduce your intake of vegetable oils and processed plant oils and things. Cool. So I hope that helps, guys. As always, like I always say, if you want me to dig deeper on this, or you have any particular questions of your own, let me know in the comments below, and I shall get back to you guys with a video as soon as I can. Take it easy, people, and I look forward to chatting with you tomorrow.